3 runs, the ball didn't leave the infield.
Right. God dang. They're done.
Well, they're a game up on Houston, and they own the tiebreaker.
Twitch didn't go live. There we go. All right. That was weird. That's never happened before.
Last night was a depressing night. I was booking all my West Coast travel. Seattle, LA, back to back to back. Yeah, Reds needed last night just because I know they're sending their best pitcher, but you're going against Skeens today. So and I would think that they'd let Skeens empty the tank today because it'll be his last appearance.
You want this to just simply be, should Ryder Cup players get paid? Or do you want to break it down that the Americans are getting paid, the Euros are not? Does it need more than that, if you know what I mean?
I do think for those that don't know, you should point out that one side is, one side isn't. Sorry.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floormeister Studios. Floormeisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Top of the morning to you on this hump day. How's your week going? Hope it's going well. We can get over it together. We can change things around. We have a heck of a show lined up for you. But first, how the heck are you, Miller and Moulton? MillerandMoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Thanks so much for being with us. Seth Everett, USF head coach Alex Golesh, Bud Elliott, Chris Perkins, all on the docket on this hump day. Good morning, Mark. How are you?
I'm doing well, David. It is a good morning. Great show lined up, fired up to talk to Coach Golesh. Obviously, love talking with Bud Elliott. A lot of things college football-wise. Seth always brings his interesting takes to the table. And, well, the Dolphins.
Right. That epic Monday night showdown coming up, 0-3 against 0-3.
And I feel good for Chris Perkins. He can watch good NFL football on Sunday for a change. So that's, 2 weeks in a row. He had a Thursday game and a Monday game. So maybe we can talk to him about Eagles and Rams. I have no idea.
That's true. Come to think of it, his mood is probably great because he has seen a lot of football. He's going to see some more as opposed to what he's stuck covering on a daily basis. So if you, and I don't know if you were ever put in this position before. I'm trying to think if I was. You and I have been fired a lot.
Right.
Together and separately. And were you ever told, listen, we're going to move on, but if you want, you can, you know, continue on till whenever.
Well, I mean, when we were in this building, they let me stay a few days and kind of go out on air, which in this business is unusual. Usually
True.
you're just gone. I
Right.
mean, you were gone here. At the other place, we were gone. I mean,
Yes.
so that's,
Yep. That's true.
no goodbyes.
Right.
Um,
Right. That's true. We did a show. They had let you know that your contract was up like it in a week, and they had let you know at the last minute, oh, by the way, we're not going to renew.
but you
And
can finish out the week essentially, or whatever
right.
it was.
And you and I did a show, and you said, yeah, I ain't doing the rest of the week. And I said, yeah, I understand that. So, okay. Because Mike Gundy, after 20 plus years at Oklahoma State, they pulled him aside and they said, uh, we're going to make a change at the end of the year. All right. We don't want to fire you. You've been the best coach we've ever had. All right. We don't want. So, how about you announce your retirement effective at the end of the year? And you can stay on, you stay with your team and your guys. You brought a brand new staff in. I mean, literally, he replaced like his entire staff but one. And you could stay on and fill out the year. And he went, no. And they said, well, then we're going to have to fire it. He went, okay. So that's it. It's over.
Well, where would you rather be? Because, I mean, Gundy was told and left, and you're right. I was talking to a guy last night at the daughter's soccer practice, and he's like, I don't even, and this is a college football fan. This is, young. They're all younger than me at the practice. I mean, all the parents are way younger than me, but I would say he's a man. He's 40. I don't know how old he is, but I would guess he's in his 40s. Based on the age of his kids. And if he's not, then you know what, you need to get in shape. But he said to me, I don't even remember another coach there. Like, I can't even think of who the last coach was. I don't remember Oklahoma State football without Mike Gundy.
It's funny. In between Jimmy Johnson and Mike Gundy, okay, go. Because Jimmy went from Oklahoma State to Miami in 84. All right. So that's about a 20-year window, I think, because Gundy took over in like what, 04, 05, something around there. So, we went about 20 years there. Name a coach who in between Jimmy Johnson and Mike Gundy.
So I thought that was it. But, obviously the other guy, and there are others, but, we've had, now this is 3 coaches fired. We're not even
September.
We're not even out of September yet.
Right. Power 4 coaches gone in September.
UCLA, Vatech, and now Oklahoma State. And look at here in the Sunshine State, we think Billy Napier's dead man walking. So would you rather be dead man walking or Mike Gundy?
Well, there's a difference, though. Like, Gundy apparently was told, like, it doesn't matter if you guys figure it out and what have you. I mean, we're moving on. Okay. Billy has not been told that by Scott Strickland.
I understand. But, David, as a guy who's been fired a few times.
I don't know if you and I are experts on sports, but this we can talk about.
Thank you. I remember, and it didn't really happen much in my radio business. I was kind of caught off guard when my contract wasn't renewed, when we were let go a second time. I was. I genuinely was.
So was I. Yes, as one half of the show, it's kind of a problem when the show's cut in half. Yes.
Right. But at a previous job, I felt as if they wanted me out. And I walked to work, walked into work every day walking on eggshells. It was a very uncomfortable situation. And it was almost a relief when you're finally told, hey, hit the door, pal, because you know it's not going to end well. It's certainly not on the terms I would have liked. So, if you're, and I know Napier says I can't think that way. Come on now, we're all human beings. The outside noise has crept in, particularly when every damn press conference he's getting asked about it.
Also, I think it's crept in at home. I think the wife's wondering, should I be?
Why do these
boxes?
realtors keep asking me questions when I'm at Pilates?
Every time I open the mailbox, there's 2 more realtor business cards in it. Is there something I should know, honey? Is the season not going well? Right. By the way, if Napier does get fired at some point during the season, that would mean 1 in all 4 Power 4 conferences.
Yes, it
UCLA,
would.
Va-Tech, Oklahoma State. I mean, that now we're talking. Yeah.
Yeah. College football looking at the NHL saying, you've got nothing on us.
Right. Okay. Looking at the NFL, you may replace 8 coaches at the end of the year. We do it in the first month. Okay. I can see the other conferences now looking at the SEC. Really? It just means more? Are you firing coaches in September? Huh?
So you're right. I mean, to think of Gundy, to think of Oklahoma State without Gundy is difficult. To try to get that gap between Jimmy Johnson and Mike Gundy. And he obviously brought them a ton of success. It was just 2 years ago they won 10 games.
They were in the Big 12 title game 2 years ago, Mark. 2 years ago. Since then, they haven't won a Big 12 game. I mean, what did they go last year?
Was it 2-10 or 3-9?
And they went winless in the conference, and he's winless this year. I mean, that's how volatile college football is right now. We've been saying it. You need look no further than Florida State, 13-0, 2-10, and now this year.
But when T-Boone goes, the money dries up. And without money, it's difficult to win in this sport.
Now, there's an Oklahoma State grad who's, in our chat room saying, "Oh, trust me, they've got money." Oh, okay. We'll see. We don't think they've got Texas Tech money, but all right, we'll see. We'll certainly find out. I did find it rich. I mean, as it turns out, we did a second to last game, Oklahoma State at Oregon. It was 69-3. I mean, I think we all knew, fourth quarter of that game, well, he ain't lasted long. And by long, we're thinking Thanksgiving at the latest. But, I mean, and Mike, had been talking about, Oregon with Nike's resources and what have you. And it's kind of like, did you forget you had T. Boone Pickens for a long time when very few schools had a T. Boone Pickens?
Right. I mean, 60 Minutes did a story on T. Boone from the Oklahoma State perspective, not the money he made in the oil world, on his essential control of that athletic department. It was a national story because it wasn't as commonplace as it is now.
I forget the reporter, but when he said, "So let me get this straight. Are you saying they can't hire a football coach without your approval?" And he looks at him like, "Well, we're standing in the stadium with my name on it. And do you know how much money I give?" "Yeah, you're darn right I'm going to be consulted." Uh-huh.
And you look back at that, and that was the precursor, and not obviously the NIL and all the things, but that was the precursor for the little guy in a big conference to take on the big boys.
Sure.
I mean, because there was a few years there that when Texas and Oklahoma were still in that conference, and they were hanging with Texas and Oklahoma.
obviously the folks in Alabama are not going to agree with my sentiment, but in 2011, when Gundy had his best Oklahoma State team and they were undefeated, they were in line that they were going to play LSU for the Natty. And then Oklahoma State had the basketball team plane crash and 10 people died. And the very next day, the football team played and they were 4-touchdown favorites and got beat. They were clearly affected by the plane crash. And that team got left out of the Natty. And you wonder if things would have been different.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 133. For over 50 years, the Nolan family has been dedicated to protecting local families. Nolan Family Insurance is a second-generation independent agency that specializes in home, flood, auto, and boat insurance. They take the time needed to explain your coverage options and answer your questions so you can make an informed decision that's right for you. If you're looking for an agency that treats you like family, call 941-639-1122 or go to nolanagency.com. That's 941-639-1122. or nolanagency.com.
So I asked him at Floormeisters, hey, what do you want me to tell everyone for September? He says, well, tell them I just bought 100 pallets of Core-Tech. So I've got so much of it, I can keep the prices low. Plus, installation's always available. Delivery's always available. And tell them Floormeisters has colors, 15 of them that no one else has. Floormeisters in Naples, next to Costco, whether it's carpet, tile, or Core-Tech. The best flooring, best service, at the best prices. Floormeisters. Floormeisters.com.
American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs and has been for 30 years. American Paint Supplies is also your #1 Festool dealer in Southwest Florida. If you are a builder, cabinet maker, painter, or power tool enthusiast, Festool craftsmanship can be found at American Paint Supplies. Celebrating 30 years of service, and Festool is celebrating 100 years of excellence. Come to American Paint Supply for a perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street, Naples, off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
This is Miller and Moulton.
I've kind of worded it. It's very wordy, David, because I don't feel like everybody coming after us on, if not reading it, because the U.S. players, most of them are they're all giving some of it to charity. Some are giving all of it to charity. So I have it. The American Ryder Cup players are being paid. The European team's not. Most of, and in some cases, all of the money is being donated to charity. Should the Ryder Cup players be paid? I know that's wordy as hell, but is that a...
Yeah, that explains it. No coffin ball. The Ryder Cup is the PGA of America. That's why it's usually significant to become the Ryder Cup captain if you win a PGA. and it's not PGA Tour. Remember, the PGA Tour does not run any of the 4 majors nor the Ryder Cup.
Jay Gunn, I poll questions on this show. It's damn near the same thing. No correction needed.
Well, I mean, the Browns should be 1-2. They should have beat the Bengals, and they should have lost to the Packers. But
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. The starting 5 in a little more than 15 minutes time here on Miller and Moulton. MillerandMoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. The Ryder Cup is Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Golf in the morning, golf in the afternoon. President Trump is arriving, I believe, late. I don't know about late afternoon, but Friday afternoon. The White House and the PGA of America kind of talked and said, listen, if you're there for the opening tee shots, do you know what a traffic backup it's going to be? So how about you let us get, everybody to the course who's planning on coming to the course. And then how about if you show up? Stay as long as you want. So that's what apparently is going to happen. But U.S. and Europe, home countries, have been dominating this now for a while. But that's not the topic we want to discuss right now. We have a Ryder Cup poll question. Good chance we'll have one tomorrow, too.
Oh, yes, we will. Tomorrow could be a day of Levitard-esque poll questions. It could be 5+.
Wow. What's going on?
There's a lot. Those days that I have fun with,
right?
There's a couple tomorrow that, to me, are poll question worthy.
So like National Barbecue Chicken Day?
Stuff like that. Okay. I'll save it till tomorrow.
All right.
Yeah, between that, the Ryder Cup, and, whatever football/baseball type question we may want to add.
Got it. So, listen, I find it humorous. all the little storylines that are being brought up and the petty exchanges that are going back and forth between members of the U.S. team, former members of a U.S. team, and the European team, and former members of a European team. And Mark, one of them is pay, which was an issue 2 years ago when the U.S. was getting their butt kicked over in Europe, that the U.S. team was saying to the PGA of America, how about a little something for the effort here? We don't think this is right.
And the PGA of America profits greatly on the Ryder Cup. I mean, they print money. Look at what the tickets cost for this event. It's astronomical. It makes the Florida-Miami secondary market tickets look cheap.
Do you know how much revenue the PGA of America is going to generate when you add in TV rights fees, sponsorships, and ticket sales?
8 figures?
How about 9 figures?
Holy Toledo!
And the first number they think will be crooked.
Wow.
Yes.
And they're now compensated not to the level of that.
No, they're not. But so guesstimates are the PGA of America is going to generate $200 million in revenue from this year's Ryder Cup. Now, that doesn't cover costs. But even if costs are $50 million, and I don't know how they could be, but I don't know, setting up the grandstands, paying, it's a public course, so I don't know how much money they had to pay for $50 million a week. I mean, Elon Musk is like, that's not bad. No, it's okay.
But the U.S. players are being compensated $500,000. $300,000 of that $500,000 is going to charity. Some of the players have already said all of the $500,000 that they receive will go to charity.
Right. They can do whatever they want with the $200,000. The PGA of America said, we're going to give you $500, but $300 of it has to go to charity. You can do whatever you want with the $200. Scotty Scheffler's like, listen, I don't disclose what I do with charity because I'm not in it for the attention. I don't think that's the purpose of charity. Okay, but I am going to tell you, I'm not going to profit a dime from that. I'm giving all 200 of it away, and a lot of guys on the team are also. But to the U.S. players, they have felt for a while now strongly that it's the principle of it. Whereas the European players are like, yeah, we've never even thought about it. What did Rory say? I'd pay to play in the Ryder Cup?
Yes.
Which I think a lot of us would. And then you find out the PGA of America is making $200 million this week, and you go, I can't get $20. You pick up my bar tab? What? Something? Hello?
So that is the crux of our poll question today. The American Ryder Cup players are being paid. The European team is not. Most of, and in some cases, all of the money is being donated to charity. Should the Ryder Cup players be paid? Yes or no? It's that simple. And because so much of it goes to their charities, they're giving their time to do this, I'm fine with it. At one point I wasn't. The more I think about it and what the PGA of America is getting from this, compensate the players. They're the reason you're making all of this money.
Did I say the PGA of America is generating $200 million from this tournament?
You did, David.
Okay. I just want to make sure. I mean, man, that's a lot of money.
And, they had their gala last night. Both teams all dressed up, all looking good with the wives and the girlfriends and all that, and they take the picture. I may have a bigger problem with the attire of the Americans than I do with the American players being paid in any way, shape, or form. And this could just be old me. And it probably is. And it might be worthy of a poll question, David, because they are all wearing suits. They look good. The wives look tremendous. Both teams dressed up wonderfully. But the Americans are all going with the sneakers with the suit. It's a god-awful look. Take that 200,000. May I suggest some Ferragamos for you? They're expensive. They're really good shoes. You'd look better in those than a pair of sneakers. I know, the comfort. But you look basically like a 12-year-old getting his first communion.
Ladies and gentlemen, I've truly important this competition is to Mark how he cannonballs into the deepest of deepest ends on this competition. He has hated something that the United States does virtually every year. It's usually the team uniform. It usually on Friday we will come out and he will be like, "What the hell is that?"
Well, let me just, on that note, David, let me ask you a very simple question.
Yeah.
When you think of the United States of America
Uh-huh.
and colors,
Uh-huh.
what are the colors you think of?
Mark, I think of three. I think of red, I think of white, and I think of blue.
Check. And what shade of blue is that?
Well, I don't know. It's in the area code of Navy,
Yes,
isn't it?
yes, it is. And
Okay.
yet we've had years
Oh,
when
yes,
we're
we
wearing the San Diego Charger
Yes.
powder blue.
Uh-huh.
What?
Yep. And ladies and gentlemen, is to give you an idea. One of the 3 days, I can promise you, the U.S. players will walk out onto the course, and I will get possibly even a phone call from Mark. It will bother him so much.
There's no doubt. It's a bone of contention. And yes, Paula, thank you for pointing out that Ferragamos are Italian. If there's a better shoe made in America, find it and wear it. Not that he made in Vietnam. The starting five is next.
So I asked him at Floormeisters, "Hey, what do you want me to tell everyone for September?" He says, "Well, tell them I just bought 100 pallets of Core-Tech. So I've got so much of it, I can keep the prices low. Plus, installation's always available, delivery's always available. And tell them Floormeisters has colors, 15 of them that no one else has. Floormeisters in Naples, next to Costco, whether it's carpet, tile, or Core-Tech. The best flooring, best service, at the best prices. Floormeisters, floormeisters.com.
American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs and has been for 30 years. American Paint Supplies is also your #1 Festool dealer in Southwest Florida. Festool craftsmanship can be found at American Paint Supplies, celebrating 30 years of service, and Festool is celebrating 100 years of excellence. Come to American Paint Supply for a perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
When Glass Doctor replaces your windshield, we don't just send you on your way, we send you off protected. Your local Glass Doctor includes the industry's only 12-month windshield protection plan at no extra cost. That means unlimited chip repairs and even a one-time replacement if needed. High-quality service backed by real peace of mind, right here in your neighborhood. Glass Doctor, Glass Doctor. Call the Glass Doctor for details.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe. And
This is Miller and Moulton.
put it this way. I doubt the majority of the clothes that they are wearing were manufactured in the United States of America. I'm guessing by percentile, about 0. I did find these Allen Edmonds shoes that are made in America that look pretty sweet. They ain't cheap either.
The U.S. Ryder Cup clothing, like the uniforms provided by Ralph Lauren, are made in China. So there you go. Ralph Lauren has confirmed that the U.S. uniforms this year were manufactured in China.
Nothing says USA quite like made in China. Wonder what the tariffs were on those clothes. But you know,
were they made before the tariffs? Guessing they were.
Our snark holds no bounds.
No,
none whatsoever.
Snark goes to both sides of the aisle.
Yeah, don't
yeah.
think for a minute.
Oh yeah. Mark, I was going to say this is such a big event, okay, that the wives and girlfriends both get invited to it. But you know,
so apparently Thursday is going to be a rain out, so they're moving I don't know, the opening ceremonies I thought are going to be today instead of tomorrow because they're apparently expecting rain on Thursday.
Huh.
But they don't give us the pairings until Thursday at 4. We get the Friday morning pairings Thursday at 4, I believe, is what I read. Man, your boy Zinger just blasted the PGA America for Pick and Bet page. I mean, just lit them on fire. And when you read it, it's hard. The points he makes are, and to me, very accurate. Know that, of course. One's the captain, and the other one's Cam Young there.
Right.
But the rest of them, some of these guys haven't. They maybe played once for an Open. So where's the advantage? And I thought that was a.
Name me a course that you think like fits the U.S. golfer, which is basically,
grip it and rip it.
Yeah, grip it, find it, wedge.
I don't know the answer to that.
Right.
What puck is this? Coin flip at some truck stop in Texas. The unknown location there.
I was going to say, is there a bat phone? What are we talking here?
And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes to the top of the hour. Our great guest list begins. Golesh, the head coach of South Florida football. 2 hours from now, Bud Elliott. And our bonus hour on a hump day is Chris Perkins. Right now it is time for
The Starting Five. 5 big stories you need to know. Here is the starting five.
We mentioned it earlier. Oklahoma State fired Mike Gundy. He was in his 21st season. He was the second longest tenured, the only one who has been at his school longer. Gundy was offered the opportunity to retire at the end of the season, but coach out the current season. He said, no, if you're getting rid of me, we can do it now. And so he was fired, and he'll get $15 million as a parting gift. Oklahoma quarterback John Mateer, tough guy. He ended up beating Auburn, but got beat up with a sprained knee and a broken right thumb. In the next 4 weeks, number 7 Oklahoma has a bye, Kent State. But in 3 weeks, they have Texas. And if he misses that 4th week, that's at South Carolina. Just on a side note here, I don't want to, for our Huntsville audience, I don't want to bring up maybe you've just gotten over, if you're an Auburn fan, the loss to Oklahoma. But here's how bad the officiating was. A.J. McCarron did an interview yesterday saying Auburn was robbed, and he was complaining about the officiating in the game. You know, the former Alabama quarterback won a couple natties with him, actually 3, because he was like 3rd string on the 09 team also. Quarterback for the Kick 6 Alabama team, right? He said Auburn got jobbed. All right, sorry if that, you just kind of put it away if I reopen that wound. NFL news. Mark, they're one of my 3 favorite teams in the world. They really are. It's my relationship with my grandfather and the Giants, and we watched games together, went to games together, going all the way back to the old Yankee Stadium. They are an absolute grease fire. Do you know they're the worst franchise in the NFL since 2017?
Yes. Yes, they are.
So it's Jackson Dart's time, the first round pick. Bucs wide receiver Mike Evans, well, he got his yearly hamstring injury, out 3 to 4 weeks. Tampa Bay last year, when he got his yearly hamstring injury, was 0-3 without Mike Evans. Sure hope Godwin can come back this week. Talk to Roy Cummings about it tomorrow, but with Evans out, it should be nice to get Chris Godwin back for the Eagles game. Titans head coach Brian Cobb, but he said, listen, didn't do well last year, off to an 0-3 start. I think I need to focus on, other areas of the team. So quarterback coach Bo Hardegree is going to call plays for the 0-3 Titans. Texans released safety C.J. Gardner-Johnson after 3 games. That's a bit of a surprise.
Right. Said basically he couldn't figure out the system of the Ryans, and they cut bait.
They traded a former first-round draft pick offensive lineman for C.J. Gardner.
He'll be on the scrap heap for about an hour.
I agree with you. Former starting quarterback Jarvis Brownlee, one of those, we'll give you a 6th, and how about you give us a 7th back? Whatever. Commanders wide receiver Terry McLaurin may not be a good fantasy play this week because he, might not play. He's got an injured quad. He's getting a second opinion. Commanders in Atlanta to face the Falcons. Mark, they did it. They did it. I can't believe the show was a minute old and you didn't bring it up. The ABS challenge system will be in Major League Baseball next year.
It's a wonderful day.
You're getting emotional, aren't you?
A little bit. A little bit.
The system will be used for balls and strikes beginning next year Each team gets 2 challenges per game, much like in the NFL. If you go overtime, they give you your timeouts back. The 10th, you get a challenge for the 10th. If you use it, they'll give you a challenge for the 11th. So you're never without a challenge in the extra innings unless you use it. By the way, only hitters, pitchers, and catchers can tap their head and say, hey, I want to challenge that. It cannot come from managers and coaches, and it can't come from the dugout.
I like that. I do like that. Because it could take, now guys, and I know they only have the people involved in that play, if you will, that pitch.
So I said each team gets 2 challenges a game, but if you challenge and get it right, you keep it. So I guess in theory, if you have a badly umpired game, who was the guy? I guess it was Monday night, the home plate umpire, San Diego, Milwaukee. They said he missed 25 pitches. 25 pitches. That's like 1 out of every 10 pitches that was thrown he got wrong. It's unreal. All right. So Mark's wiping away a tear. I'll let you know what happened in Major League Baseball last night. Oh, part of the reason he's wiping away a tear is the Tigers lost again.
Oh, my goodness.
They had Scooble on the hill with a 2-0 lead in the 6th. And the Guardians don't get the ball out of the infield for the inning, and they score 3 runs. The Guardians and Tigers were tied for first. A week and a half ago, the Guardians trailed by 8. Cleveland owns the tiebreaker. I'll give some good news for the Tigers and their fans coming up. Red Sox beat the Blue Jays 4-1. Red Sox magic number to clinch a playoff spot is 4. Jays magic number to clinch the East remains at 4 because the Yankees with 2 out in the 9th scored twice. Back to the Jays with 5 to play. Toronto owns the tiebreaker. Yankees have the much softer schedule the rest of the way. Seattle beat Colorado 4-3 thanks to 3 in the 8th. The Mariners are 15-1 in the last 2.5 weeks. Thank you very much. Their magic number to clinch the West is 1 because Houston lost their 4th straight 5-1 to the A's. Houston, a game back of both Cleveland and Detroit for a final playoff spot. So whichever one would win the Central, the other one right now has a game lead on Houston for the final wild card. Mark, some small consolation for you right now with your Tigers.
I know where you're going here because they do not have the tiebreaker with Cleveland. Last night gave Cleveland the tiebreaker over Detroit. They will win the season series, but the Tigers own the tiebreaker over the Houston Astros.
So you're a game up with 5 to play, but you're really a game and a half up.
I'm more concerned on whether or not this team wins the game the rest of the year.
The Pirates, they own the Reds this year for some reason. 4-2, snapping Cincy's 5-game winning streak. Skeens on the hill for the Pirates today in these all-important games for Cincinnati. Reds lost combined with the Mets, rallying from a 6-1 deficit in the 6th to beat the Cubs 9-7. Francisco Alvarez with the game-winning 2-run homer in the 8th. So the Mets lead the National League wild card by a game over the Reds and Diamondbacks. Arizona with 2 in the 9th to rally and beat the Dodgers 5-4. Ohtani threw 6 shutout innings. He threw 91 pitches last night. Yeah, Ohtani's pitching in the playoffs. They wondered, would he be one of their first 3 starters? Yes. Yamamoto, Ohtani, and Snell. By the way, Cubs' magic number to clinch the 4 seed is 4. They're losing streak here. They've lost 5 in a row with the Padres getting hot, and San Diego shut out the Brewers last night, 7-0. San Diego's a game and a half behind both the Dodgers and the Cubs. The Cubs to host the 4-5 wild card round. The Dodgers, San Diego, 1.5 back, 2 back in the loss column. Brewers' magic number, by the way, to clinch home field advantage throughout the playoffs and the World Series is 2, because the Marlins won their 7th in a row, rallying from 3-0 down in the 8th to beat the Phillies 6-5-11, despite Schwarber hitting his 6 weeks. That's a walk year, ladies and gentlemen. That's a walk year. The Braves have won 10 in a row. Beat the Nats 3-2. Where the hell's this team been? The answer is on the injured list, but that's a whole other story. The Rangers have lost 8 in a row. Mark's Texas Rangers a little over a week ago. Okay, they were right in it to win the division. And now they're done.
They're eliminated last night.
4-1 Minnesota went over the Angels. Cardinals mathematically stay alive with 2 in the 9th. They beat the Giants 9-8. And Baltimore held the Rays to just 2 hits in a battle for 4th place in the AL East. Orioles 6-0 over Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay with a 2-game lead for 4th. WNBA playoffs last night. Phoenix down 20 in Minneapolis against the best team in the league, rallied to beat the Lynx in overtime to even that series. Hey, they take this seriously in the WNBA too. Seattle and New York both made the playoffs, both fired their head coaches. The New York coach won the title last year. And finally, Mark, I don't know if you saw this. Sister Jean retired yesterday. The 106-year-old no longer able to be present on campus at Loyola Chicago, slowing down. By the way, what year was Loyola Chicago's run to the Final Four when we first got introduced to Sister Jean?
Is that 5 years ago?
7. Wow. Yeah, it was the spring of 2018.
She was just a young 99 back then.
Huh? Right, exactly. She was spry. And at 9 minutes before the hour, that was the starting 5. 5 big stories and Sister Jean here on Miller and Moulton.
Sister Jean sounds like it's a song. But I guess I'm thinking of Sister Christian. You know, they're kind of close.
Or Billie Jean?
Maybe.
Are you combining the two here?
Don't know. I could be.
By the way, tough to combine those 2 artists.
It really is, David.
If they combined on a duet, that would have been something. But you got it. You got your wish. You got the ABS system in Major League Baseball. Tell me Rob Manfred's not your favorite commissioner of all time.
Any sport. I love it. I hope this is the precursor to going all the way. And I know baseball purist is out there saying, we don't need this, the human element and all that. I don't know. They finally figured out the technology. It works in tennis, that's what they use. But this is a start. I do like, however, if there are going to be challenges, that it is only the pitcher, catcher, and batter. I don't want it coming from the dugout. I don't want the second baseman telling them to do it, although I'm sure they probably could. But I think this will be efficient. I don't think this, their replay system's pretty fast.
Yep.
I think this will be pretty fast, David.
For what it's worth, because obviously every player is a different size, apparently the strike zone will be, the low strike zone will be 27% of the person's height. And the height of the person's height. So that will be the computerized box for every batter. Boy, Altuve strike zone is going to be
Football
really
season is
small.
back, and celebrate your game day with Jimmy the Beef Guy. We're talking tender, juicy Chicago beef sandwiches. Whether your party's for 10, 100, or 200, bring game day to your house with Jimmy the Beef